everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Souji, and today we're continuing the series on my trip to Greece and Turkey with Celebrity Silhouette. If you haven't seen the previous videos from the series, you can check it out here. Today's port stop was Kusadasi in Turkey, and we were really excited because this was the first time that we had ever been to Turkey. This is the closest port to the ancient Roman city of Ephesus, which surprisingly used to be a port city, but now is completely landlocked, because apparently the river got silted up over the years. I didn't quite understand it, but it was insane to see how far inland Ephesus is now. We had a great tour guide here too, after some of the more boring ones we had in Greece. He was an old high school history teacher, so he was really passionate when he was explaining all the history of the places we went to. We left the ship and had to go through a busy port to get to our bus because so far throughout the trip, we were the only cruise ship docked at any of our ports, which apparently was not normal. So here we finally had another cruise ship docked next to us. And would you look at that? It was the Odyssey of the Seas, which is interesting because at the time of filming, I have just gotten off its sister ship, the Ovation of the Seas, 3 weeks ago in Asia. We zipped through the port city on a bus to go all the way inland to the House of the Virgin Mary, which was really interesting because the tour guide said that it may not be the case that Mary actually lived here, but the beauty of this spot is that this is the place where Catholics and Muslims both go to pray together to Mother Mary. And you can see the line was so long to get into the house. When we did go in though, we couldn't take pictures, but essentially there was a shrine of Mary with some candles that you could donate money to light. We drove down after that into the city of Ephesus, or at least the parking lot outside. And one of the cool things about this trip, specifically the part about Turkey, is that the Turks were actually the conquerors who came in and took over the old Roman Empire there, or the Byzantine Empire at the time. And they acknowledged that. They were sharing Roman history and saying this is what the Romans used to do before we, the Turks, came in and took over. It's incredible that they are preserving the monuments and sculptures of the people that they took over. We walked through a huge city of ruins and got to see the main street of Ephesus, old buildings, statues, ancient Greek god shrines, and a massive theater. From when we first got to Athens, people were telling us Ephesus is going to be the biggest ruin that you see. It's going to overshadow everything that you have seen before. And it really felt that way because this city is massive. It is apparently one of the 4 biggest cities of the Roman Empire, and they had preserved most of it, and in fact were reconstructing and putting together old buildings that had fallen apart. Every time we kept turning a corner in the city, we would see a more expansive ruin, and then we would walk through that, turn another corner and see another huge section of the city that we hadn't even seen. We had not seen anything this big this whole trip. And then when we finally got to see the theater of Ephesus, which people from Athens were telling us this will blow your mind, it really was so big and well preserved and just took forever to walk through. Interestingly, we also got to see what the public toilets from back in the day looked like. We got to walk through them, and you can see that they're all kind of just placed next to each other, so people would just go there, pay money to use the toilet, and sometimes even socialize. Now, PSA. I mentioned before in my Athens video, which is here, that people should do this Greece and Turkey trip when they're still fit and able because everything is very slippery and it's very hard to walk. In Ephesus in particular, we saw so many people of all ages just tripping and falling, hitting their head. So definitely go when you can, when you're young. The next stop on the tour was the Ephesus Archaeological Museum, where the highlight was we got to see a model of what the ancient Temple of Artemis would have looked like. Unfortunately, now only a single column of this temple still remains because people took apart the stones of the old temple in order to build new buildings. Similarly, after that, we went to the Basilica of St. John, which suffered the same fate. Here's a model of what it originally looked like. But now when we were walking through the ruins and rubble, the tour guide told us that its stones were also taken apart to build other things. But he was able to point to us which rooms would have been the baptism room and which ones would have been the prayer room. And we could kind of still see the general layout in the rubble. We finally had lunch afterwards in a Turkish rug seller's backyard. The views were so phenomenal, and eating outdoors when the weather was so perfect was a treat. We had tzatziki, grilled veggies, crispy phyllo rolls, and they even made a vegetarian eggplant dish for me. So we were very well fed and very happy when all of that was done. After a hearty lunch, we got to watch a demonstration of how a Turkish rug or kilim is made. The carpets were so gorgeous, and we got to learn the difference between the regular, I think, cotton rugs and the silk rugs. But the silk rugs especially were like tens of thousands of dollars, especially if you wanted to get them in the bigger sizes. The salesman also gave us refreshments, and before we got off the cruise, they suggested to us we try the Turkish apple tea, which is what I got. We also tried this liquor called raki, which is like really strong, so I only had like a single sip of it. But yeah, the rugs were so expensive that only one couple out of our like 50 people tour bought one. I mean, they saw that I was young and they figured I wouldn't have money to spend anyway on like a $50,000 rug, so the salespeople didn't even try to come to me and ask if I wanted to buy one. So after the tour bus dropped us off at the port, right there was the Kusadasi market, where I bought some Turkish tea and towels there because, you know, Turkish cotton towels are known to be very soft and pliable. We really had to haggle for everything though, which I'm not good at all. Like the lady was like, oh, I'll give it to you for like 600 Turkish lira, and I immediately was like, okay, and just bought it off her. But I can't imagine like haggling for everything, because my sense that I got from going to Kusadasi in Istanbul is that you have to haggle for literally everything, like your food, clothes, any like pots and pans you may need for your house, like everything is haggling. Finally, we went back to the ship and got to watch the sunset from the upper deck of the cruise, and the colors in the Mediterranean were just so striking. The water was always so blue and the sky is so orange during the sunsets. It's almost like there was a filter over real life. And these photos and these videos are completely unfiltered. And with that was Kusadasi. It was really cool to see Ephesus. I don't know if I would go back again because we did see a lot on this tour. We basically saw almost everything there is in Kusadasi, like Ephesus, the House of Virgin Mary, and some of the cultural aspects like the rugs. But this is one of the ports I would recommend to people. If you're booking a cruise or you want to go to Turkey, like definitely make sure to check out Kusadasi and Ephesus. The last two videos in this series are going to be about Istanbul, so please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you then.